Good morning. It'll probably be a little quicker program this morning. I'd like to thank all y'all that are watching the evening program, By the Rivers of Babylon. I encourage you to tune in. It happens between 8, 9, somewhere in there. It's whenever I get in for the day and have time to do it. I haven't actually got it at a set time. It's kind of like the morning. The morning is whenever I have time to do it. But there's a difference in the programs. There's not a repeat, although sometimes I'm wearing the same clothes. The morning is our verse by verse Bible study. At night, we're talking about Babylon and all things Babel, because religion began at Babylon. Religion will end at Babylon. The rebellion began at Babylon, the rebellion against God, and the rebellion will end at Babylon. That is what the Bible teaches. So I want you to join me on that journey. Jerusalem is mentioned 800 and some odd times in the Bible. But the next greatest mention of a city is Babylon. Nearly 300 mentions of Babylon in the Bible, but when you include Babel and the Chaldeans and the plain of Shinar, you got well over 400, up close to 500 mentions. So more than half as much as Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is the city of God, the city of peace. Bob, God bless you. And so anyway, we'll just that's in the evening. We'll do a shorter program this morning in Isaiah because we have doctor appointment. We have to go to the Hammonds building. We've got rehab work to do today. So anyway, we'll pick up where we left off. Yesterday we were in the first woe, and we were talking about what was the second woe actually. First woe is in verse 8. The second woe starts in verse 11. That's where we began yesterday. Isaiah 5 verse 11. Woe unto them that rise up early in the morning, that they may fall a strong drink. They continue until night, till wine inflame them. And the harp and the viol and the tabret and pipe and wine are in their feast, but they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operation of his hands. That's where we are today. Therefore, my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge. My people die for lack of, people perish for lack of knowledge. And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure. And their glory, and their multitude, and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. And the mean man shall be brought down, and the mighty man shall be humbled, and the eyes of the lofty shall be humbled. But the Lord of hosts shall be exalted in judgment, and God that is holy shall be sanctified in righteousness. Then shall the lambs feed after their manner, and the waste places of the fat ones shall strangers eat. Now beginning the next woe, Isaiah chapter 5, verse 18. Remember, this is specifically to Judah. It is implicitly to Israel as well, because it starts out as a condemnation of Israel. Israel will go into captivity roughly 150 years sooner than does Judah. But Isaiah's woes are for us now prophetically. And everything he's talking about, we can see going on now in our society, in the United States of degeneration. United States debauchery. Verse 18, Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity and sin, as if it were a cart rope. Woe unto them that do what? That draw iniquity, pull it in with cords. I'm going to get my rope on that. You know, if ever my friends down in Texas, I'm going to get a rope on it. You ever hear that phrase? If you ain't never heard that phrase, you ain't been on a ranch. I'm going to get my rope on it. Or you hear cowboys talking about women. I'm going to get my rope on her. Bam, she's mine. I wish it were that easy, right, boys? Because this is what you do. You find one who can stand to be in a pickup with you going down the road, and you just hang on to her and don't let go because they're all the same. Just take one and hang on and don't ever let her go. That's all you can do. Just hold on and go. It's like riding a horse or a bull. Just hang on and go because there's nothing you can do about it. But then you won't be alone. You'll have a family. You'll have a posterity. And you'll have a woman that loves you. Started out as a joke, now I'm getting all syrupy, but you know, the Bible says that a man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. It's a good thing that man, God said in the garden, it is not good that man should be alone. Yeah, it's not good for a woman to be alone either. She needs you. I don't know why, but God made her that way. I don't know why Velda hadn't killed me now. We're married 44 years. The greatest miracle of our marriage is that she ain't murdered me. I certainly deserve death. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as it were with a cart rope. When you're roping sin, or tying your rope to sin and dragging it in, it's like you're going to hitch it to something. Pretend that sin is a mule or a horse or an oxen. You're going to hitch it up. You get a rope on it, you draw it into you, and it's like you're in the cart, and you just keep pulling on the rope. And pretty soon, you keep pulling on that horse. If you're not hitched up, he'll be right up there in the wagon with you and kicking it over. Horses are pretty smart. That's why we don't eat them. You're not supposed to eat something that's smarter than you are. And a horse is probably the most intelligent creature on the face of the earth because he won't do something that's not in his best interest. He has to be forced. He has to be forced by a handler to do something he doesn't like. That's the way people ought to be. He won't do something that will hurt himself unless he's forced to do it. That's why you have to train horses to go into battle. That's why you had to train horses in the olden days to go to the fire, pull the fire wagon, that kind of thing. Because the horses won't do it unless you make them. You have to be trained. This is a picture of casting your net or throwing your rope and getting it on a sin and pulling it into you until the sin is in your lap and you're sitting up there in the cart. And your cart, which is you and your life, is just to hold all the sin that you accumulate. And I'm afraid that's where we are now. We keep searching for new ways to sin, just like the perverts at Sodom. It said after the angels struck them blind, they wearied themselves to find the door. They're still feeling around and searching, even though their object of their lust had been taken away from their eyes and they couldn't see anymore. They still felt around. They could not be dissuaded, could not be deterred from their desire and their task. And that's what we're doing. We draw sin to us as if we're pulling on a rope until we're full of it, till we're full of the sin. And we look for new ways to sin. And it sears our conscience. It hurts our minds because we're in such an antagonistic position against God. And look what it does to the mind. It turns sin, the pursuit of sin, the achievement and gathering in and collection to oneself of sin. It breeds rebellion. It exacerbates rebellion. It turns rebellion into sacrilege, into blasphemy against the God of heaven. Now, I'll read the second half and then read the whole thing in context. This woe is only 2 verses long, which is good for this morning because I only had about 2 verses worth in me. We gotta leave here 7:15, 7:20 to get down to Springfield for the appointment at the rehab. Woe unto them, verse 18, chapter 5, woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity and sin, as it were, with a cart rope. Pull it in, tie it up, hitch that sin to your life, hitch your life to that sin. You see, that's what we're talking about here. Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity and sin, as if it were a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work. Let who make speed? Let who make speed? God. Read this. That said, let God make speed and hasten his work that we may see it. Like, unless we see God do something, we're not going to believe it. Oh, he can do something bad. He can strike us dead, but at least we'll know it came from God. Now that's madness. Sin drives you crazy. God is not crazy. He says, come, let us reason together. Come now and let us reason together. Though your sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. Once that you've drawn sin unto yourself and tied it to you and you to it, then comes the blasphemy and the ultimate in rebellion and the sacrilege and the hatred of God and making God a joke like, well, where is he? What can he do to me? I don't see a God. What God? Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity and sin, as it were, with a cart rope, that say, let him make speed and hasten his work that we may see it. Do your worst, God. We're right here. Here, hold my beer. I'm ready for you, God. Go ahead. Give it your best shot. These people are crazy. I see it on TV all the time. There's one comedian, her whole act is blaspheming Jesus Christ. I can't watch it because the language is so foul and she's so awful. That say, let him make speed and hasten his work that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel, that's God, that's who they're talking about. Let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come that we may know it. All right, God, you want a piece of me? Here I am. All right, God, if you want me to believe in you, show yourself and I'll believe. All right, God, if you think you're so big and powerful, just make something happen. Knock down this wall or tip over my coffee cup. Just do it to show me that you're God. You ain't so big. You see how this is horrible and terrible and blasphemous? They're saying, come on, God. If you're real, do your worst because I'm here and I don't think you can do anything. That is what these people are saying. That is the end result of sin. The end result of sin is blasphemy and rebellion, and the wages of sin is death. One of the greatest signs of blasphemy is not that you worship idols of your own and gods of your own making, where you make God in your own image. That's not the worst part of it. The worst part of it is that the God who lives forever is calling you, and you reject the call and you choose Taylor Swift or Patrick Mahomes or President Trump or anybody that's a big deal in the world. The Rolling Stones. And you put your faith and your trust and your attention in, on, and around them. That is the end result of all. And it ends in complete dissolution. Because you die apart from God. You go into eternity without Christ. And you are bound for a devil's hell. Ye must be born again. In verse 19, let him make speed and hasten his work that we may see it. Let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come that we would know it. Just do what you're going to do, God. Let us see it. And, if it's bad, well, we'll consider it. But we don't believe in you. We don't believe you are anywhere. We don't believe you're coming from anywhere to come to somewhere. We don't believe any of it at all. And this reminds me of Simon Peter said it would be in the last days. Last chapter of the second epistle of Peter, second epistle general of Peter. That begins in chapter 3. Let's see. I got the right page. There's two Peters, and I'm always getting on the wrong. No, the second epistle general of Peter, beginning chapter 3, verse 1. Now this second epistle, beloved, I now write unto you, in both which I stir up your pure minds by way of remembrance, that ye may be mindful of the words which were spoken before by the holy prophets, and of the commandment of us apostles of the Lord and Savior, knowing that this first, that there shall come in the last days scoffers, walking after their own lust, the sin that we've heaped unto ourselves by pulling it into our laps with cords and ropes and tying ourselves to it and hitching our lives to it, walking after their own lust and saying, verse 4, where's the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. What they're saying is there ain't no God, and if there is, he ain't coming back, because nothing ever changes. Yesterday is the same. Today is the same as yesterday. Tomorrow will be the same as today. And their consciences are seared. Their minds are numbed to the truth, because Satan has blinded them that they might not see the truth. It's what happens. And Simon Peter also said in chapter 2 of 1 Peter, he says, this God has called you, Jesus has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Now, I wish I could continue, but I can't. It's time to go. And we got through the third woe. 1 woe, 2 woe, 3 woe, go. Good morning, Bob. I hadn't heard from you in a long time. God bless you. So anyway, we'll be back with this tomorrow morning. And we'll get our rehab schedule today for Velda, and I'll be going with her. So we can figure out what's going to happen with the timing of these programs. Tonight is the Ozark Gospel Podcast from Full Gospel Church. Tonight it will be James and I and our special guest, Dr. Danny Decker. Um, and then when I get home, I'll tell you some more about what it's like by the rivers of Babylon. God bless you.